This happened over 10 years ago when I was in high school. My friend Claire came to sleep over. We made plans to sneak out and hang out with some guys, but we had to convince them to pick us up because neither of us had a car and they lived too far away for us to walk there. The guy who rented the apartment agreed to do it and said he would drive us home at the end of the night. Once my parents were asleep, we went out to our friend's apartment and had some fun for a while. Around midnight, Claire decided it was time for us to head back, but when we asked to be taken home, everyone suddenly changed their mind about driving us. They all said they were either too drunk or too high, and the guy who drove us there said he wasn't going to help us because we didn't put out for him and his friends. Being drunk and pissed off at all of them, we left the apartment without much of a plan to get home. We decided to just start walking back, and we would make some phone calls to see if anyone could pick us up to bring us back the rest of the way. My house was a good 20 minutes away by car on the highway, so there was no way we were walking the whole way. The apartment was toward the back of the complex, so we started making our way to the entrance. We didn't even get halfway there before a car rolled up behind us and started slowly following us. I was 15 or 16 at the time and very naive, so I wasn't too concerned. But Claire was a little smarter than me. She told me to start walking faster. The car also picked up its pace to stay close to us. Claire told me to walk even faster. We started moving as fast as we could without running, and that's when the car sped up and passed us, then stopped a few feet in front of us. The passenger doors opened and 2 men jumped out. Realizing there's no way to walk out of this situation, Claire shouts at me to run. She took off and I followed close behind. We weaved through a couple of small side streets, then ran toward a group of parked cars and jumped behind a pickup truck. For a minute, we hoped and prayed that we weren't spotted. This is where the details get a little fuzzy. Neither of us was sober, and we were suddenly panicking out of our minds. I was about to lose it, but Claire just barely managed to keep a grip on the situation. One of the men had just gotten back in the car at some point, as only one person seemed to be following us on foot. A little after we started hiding, we heard a set of footsteps approaching the truck. Claire told me to keep quiet and stick close to her. Before we knew it, the man was right on the other side of the truck. He circled the truck looking for us, forcing us to slowly and quietly move to stay on the opposite side to avoid being spotted. It felt like a scene from a movie or a video game. We somehow managed to do 2 or 3 circles around the vehicle without being detected. If we hadn't hid behind a giant heavy-duty pickup truck, it would have been over for us. By the grace of the gods, he gave up after a minute and went back to the car with the others. That was our one shot to get away. Claire took my hand and ran off. We sprinted for what felt like an eternity, but in reality, it was probably only 15 to 20 seconds. We found the pool house area and a spot to hide in some bushes behind a fence. But there wasn't much we could do there except anxiously wait to see if they would discover us. Their car pulled around to the pool house not long after. We bit our nails, hoping they didn't stop to get out. The car slowly drove away, clearly still scanning for us. But at least in that moment, we realized we hadn't been spotted. We were safe, for now, but not nearly out of the woods. The car circled around the apartment complex for hours. They weren't giving up. We had to find a way out of there, and the men trying to kidnap us weren't our only problem. It was the middle of winter, and of course, we were dressed to impress the guys we went to hang out with, wearing short shorts and revealing tops. We were freezing. We looked around in the bushes and found a dirty, disgusting Captain America blanket that we huddled together under while making phone calls to find someone to pick us up. We tried contacting the guys at the apartment, but no one answered our calls. None of our friends answered our calls either. We felt completely alone and helpless. We were stuck there in constant danger and terrible conditions the entire night until finally, around 5 a.m., someone answered and said they would pick us up. It was the best news I had ever heard in my life. Our friend got to the apartment complex, but they didn't want to park in front of the pool house until the car that was looking for us was out of sight. They were worried it would give them away as the person helping us escape. Maybe they were right, but it was agonizing knowing our ticket out of there was aimlessly driving around the complex, just like our ticket to hell. At last, there was an opening. They parked in front of the pool house and we made a run for it. We spotted their car and hopped in as fast as we could, yelling at them to step on the gas. Our friends sped off toward the entrance. We passed the kidnappers on our way out, and that was the last we saw of them. We made it back to my house around 6 a.m., just in time to sneak back in without my parents ever knowing we even left. If Claire hadn't been with me that night, I definitely would have been abducted, or worse. I'm so thankful for her and our friend who picked us up. But as for the adult men who wanted to take advantage of us as teenagers and didn't care about our safety, and especially to the pieces of garbage who wanted to hurt us, they can all burn in hell.